Evening, new stream, but this time looking at the moon and the planets. I've not done a live stream for a long time, so have to bear with me while I sort out what's what and see if I can remember all the buttons to press, because it has been a while. It has been a while. Let me know if the audio is good, because everything's still on the dusty side on the brain cells. So we'll have a brief look round. It might be a short stream, might be a long stream, but we'll see. Here we go. I'm trying to set up monitoring of the stream as well on the other side, other screen. There we go. So if I go quiet, I'm looking at numbers and testing out the gear. So it says the stream is live. So let's see if I can bring it up. Just going to pause it for a bit. Right, I think that's got the audio working, and I think the telescope camera is streaming straight onto YouTube now. I had a bit of an issue there for a few seconds. Right, we're just looking basically at the moon for a moment, and then we'll be going across to Jupiter. I'm just trying to get the settings correct for exposure so we don't burn the details out, as in the side of the craters there. And I can just tweak the focus a little bit. I'll just drop that down to slowing rate of 1. There we go. There you go. I've got a manual focus button in my little office here. I've not got an autofocus. I've built a lot of this stuff myself. So when it does go wrong, which it occasionally does, a few occasions more than I like, I roughly know where to go and look to sort it. Right, this is the sort of thing I'm trying to sort out, the overexposure around the crater edges. So I can drop that a little bit, perhaps change the gain a little bit. And then again, it might just be how it is out there. So let's just have a scroll around. and then we'll shoot over to Jupiter. I've been doing a little bit on Jupiter earlier on just to make sure everything's working. Let's see if we can get to the edge. There we go, there's the edge of the moon. And let's just double check the focus along this edge just here. There. Just tweak down the exposure again. Right, I did have a second camera set up, but unfortunately it needs to be rebooted, the whole system. So I'm going to have to leave that for this time and go back later. I might even do a restream after I've had some dinner. Right, here we go. I'm just going to paste a link onto my YouTube channel, onto my Facebook channel. Right, there we go. Let's have a look around. There we go. I'll just say hi so I know somebody's there. I'm trying to monitor two different screens at the same time. And let me know what the audio level's like. A little bit more focus. I'll go through the equipment we're using in a second. I am just going to turn the gain down again. The gain seems to be really high, so I'm not bothered about frame rate at the minute because I'm not doing a capture. But what I will do when we get to Jupiter, I'm going to do a live capture and stack. The scope's not drifting too much, so that's a plus. Although I've not done a polar alignment for many months, it seems to be holding position quite well. Right, for those who are interested, the scope is a Skywatcher 300 PDS and the camera is a ZWO ASI 224 MC. I've modified it a little bit to cool it down. I know it's not necessary for a planetary camera, but just dropping it a few degrees just keeps it that little bit more under control. And also I'm using a box standard 3x Barlow just to get in close like this, and everything looks okay. So basically what we're doing this evening is a shakedown, see what works, see what doesn't work, and adjust anything that needs adjusting. I've got two different sized hammers if I need to do anything. But the views on screen are looking okay. But at the moment, from my actual position, it's almost looking south towards the moon at the moment. It's going over the rooftops of some adjacent houses. So we're getting a little bit of thermal interference, even though it's cool outside. The atmosphere is bubbling, just like my kettle should be. I'll do, let's go across. We can just up the exposure a tiny bit now, or sorry, the gain. There we go. There we go. See the shadow details coming up along here. We're getting closer to the terminator, so the contrast will be slightly better, and it's where I have to keep adjusting the focus a little bit. And the clicking noise is my box, if you can hear it. That's what I use just to adjust the focus outside on the observatory. Some nice detail coming out for these shots. I don't know why it's gone like that. I have absolutely no idea. No idea why it's got that border on. There's probably somebody looking at the stream right now shouting at me, shouting at the screen. There we go. Find enough buttons to press and you can mess anything up. Well, I can. Right, let's tweak. And a little bit more focus button. Yeah, it's not a bad view. It's not a bad view. It's looking pretty interesting, pretty dramatic, because it's really close to the terminator and we're getting a lot of contrast. I'm not going to do any capturing for the moment. I'm just going to have a look round and re-familiarise myself with all the different buttons involved in getting this working, because it's been a year or two since I did the last stream. In fact, the last thing I did was the supernova in M101 pinwheel, and that was a short notice stream. Just tweak it down a little bit. See the burnout along those crater edges. I'm not sure if that's down to rotation and position with the sun being low on their horizon, but it seems to be an annoying little feature. Later on in the year, when the position of the moon is slightly different to where it is now, the atmospheric conditions will stabilise and we'll get a lot less of the turbulence in the atmosphere, so the view will be a lot cleaner, a lot clearer, and I won't have to keep tweaking the focus like this. Drop that down a little bit. This is my newer cam. I used to have the QHY 132E, which was a USB 2, and it would do 30 frames per second at similar resolution to this. But I've loaned it out to a couple of friends who are just getting into the hobby. Steve Pritchard, if you're listening, there's a shout out to you. I look forward to seeing some of your captures later. And turn the buttons down a little bit. There you go. It's not ideal, but for a first stream after a long absence, it's looking okay. I do have a file somewhere with moon map and crater identifiers, so I could, as we're going on, I can identify the different craters and anything notable about them, because a lot of the craters are named after astronomers and astronauts for various reasons. A popular one is the landing sites, but I'm not doing them this evening. All I'm doing is testing the gear. I want to give it a run for about 15 minutes, 20 minutes, and make sure nothing's going to fail on me. Oh, that's weird. There's some lines across here on this flat area. Somebody's been dragging office furniture around, I think, and they've left some marks. Let's carry on going in the upper direction. And let's follow the edge for a little bit till we get to the high contrasty bit, which looks like about here. And here we go. I think one of my friends referred to the moon as one of our local meat shields. Taking one for the team every time a comet or asteroid passes by, it steps up to the mark and says no thank you. Another tweak on the focus. The conditions aren't quite perfect, but I've also got a PowerMate 5x Barlow. I don't use very often, only when the conditions are absolutely perfect, and then you can get some really nice views, close-up views of these craters. The natural focal length of the 300 PDS is 1500 millimeters. So this evening with the 3x Barlow, that's 3 times that, so it's 4,500 millimeters, so about f15-ish. The temperature on, with the modified cooler is -0.5, so it must be chilly outside. I can't control the temperature, it's manual. I've built it all myself, so it's a manual dial on the side of the camera itself. So 0.5 of a degree below zero. It works for me. It works for me. One of the last evenings out, the camera was dropping down quite nicely, but the humidity was high, and the Barlow was misting over with dew. So I've had to put a small heater around the Barlow to stop the Barlow misting over. So there's more wires and connectors and dials on the equipment at the moment. I think Doctor Who would be proud to see it in his TARDIS. A little tweak of the go. There we go. A little tweak on gain. I think unity gain is about 180 on this camera, somewhere around there. But if you turn it right up to unity, I tend to get a lot of noise on the captures. So I keep it to around 100-ish, depending on conditions. Let's share the stream. Go and have a look at Learning Astrophotography Group, and I'll drop a link in for them, see if anybody wants to come and have a look. There you go. Right, so I'm going to scroll through. Yeah, the software I'm using is OBS Studio. I do have a face cam and everything, but I'm not using that this evening. I'm not too fussed about people being distracted. So we're just going with this one at the moment. I will be resetting later on and having a second camera, a wider camera. That's a QHY 5L Mark II on a Skywatcher ST80, which is my guide scope, and that has a more encompassing view of the moon. So when I finish this short stream, I'm going to do a reset and get that online, and then repeat and see how it goes. Right, that's that. Let's just have a quick look at Stellarium, and let's see if we can find Jupiter. Where I left Jupiter a couple of hours ago. So that's Bye Bye Moon, and let's see if we can find a Jupiter. And look at that. That go-to was pretty good. Let's centralise that, and let's see if we can identify some of the moons. Bring that into the middle. Right, a little tweak of focus again. Virtually identical to the moon settings. Right, let's have a look what we've got. That one there will be Ganymede, bottom closest. That one slightly further out will be Io. So that would make this one that's cast in the shadow, I think that one there will be Europa. And Callisto will be right down this side off screen. So let's see if we can find Callisto. Let's just slow over to Callisto, see if we can find it. Let me just synchronise on that so I don't lose position. There we go. I'll just bring the Stellarium screen over. This is what we're looking at. Ganymede and Io, and that's Europa. And then right over here is Callisto. So let's just centralise that, and we'll click on Callisto, centralise that, current object slew, and hopefully there's Callisto. Just turn the exposure up a little bit, or the gain. Yeah, Callisto, nothing much to look at, just a blob, but Callisto nonetheless. So let's just go back to the main event. Centralize. Current object slew. Well, maybe a little bit overexposed, but is that another one of the moons just there? Let's just crank it up a little bit. That could indeed be another moon. Let's have a look at Stellarium. So we've got the reference of Ganymede and Io. So it will make the triangle with Ganymede and Io. Let's have a look. What's that? It'll be that there, won't it? So that's not a moon, I don't think. So it's not coming up as a star. It's not identified in Stellarium. Right. Who can identify that for me? I think some of the smaller moons are a little bit ambitious. Mag 17. Let's go back to the camera. Let's really crank it up, see what else we can see if we can see some of the more smaller stuff. I don't think we're able to pick any Mag 17 things up. It'll just overexpose. And by the diffraction spikes coming off of Jupiter, I don't think we're going to get a good focus on that. No. Looks like a little bit of tube turbulence. Right, let's get back down to sensible levels. There you go. Back home. Slip that across a little bit. So yeah, there we have it. Jupiter. So we double check the focus. Yeah, there's a focus, that'll do. That'll do. Not doing any capturing at the moment. Right, let's bring stellarium up, see if there's any other things of interest nearby. Some of these minor planets. Mag 17, Mag 11, that might be capturable. But I need a slightly different camera because the camera I've got is just... Oh, let's have a look at Uranus. I don't have a wide camera just to double check on anything. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to hop across. We'll do a little bit of star hopping. So what star hopping is, pick a largest strong star for a reference that you can easily identify, jump across to it, click the align button, that's be quite bright, and that gives you a reference point for your next hop. So we'll go to that one there, Mag 4, we'll find that one. So click on there, current object, slew. Turn the exposure up because it's a little bit less bright. Oh, there it is. The go-to seems to be working. The camera has got such a narrow field of view with the 3x Barlow. The go-tos have to be super accurate. So let's put a reference on, let's centralise it. And it does seem to look like the Enterprise has fired a photon torpedo at us. But like I say, this is not the correct camera for this sort of observing. Take this up, current object sync, so we synchronise with that. So the next jump to Uranus should be pretty accurate. So let's get rid of that. Just double check the focus a little bit. see if we can improve on it. We'll leave it on that, and let's jump across. Current objects slew. There she goes. And let's have a look at the camera. Somewhere along here we should see a blue blob appear centralish on the screen. I hope. That could be it there. So let's up the gain a tiny bit. And the exposure. That indeed is Uranus. Bring that central. Let's drop the area to 640 by 480. We can increase the frame rate. We are doing 8 frames a second at the minute, so let's just get that central. We will drop that, turn up the gain a little bit, and that 14 frames a second. I don't think it's going to be worth trying to do a capture. But I might just do it anyway, just see what details we get, because it's just too much noise on that. I'm just going to see whereabouts. On the orbital plane Uranus currently is compared to us. So see how far away it is. Just bear with me. This is always useful. Right, there's us. Open your window and wave, I might be able to see you on that one. And these are some of the major comets around us. I need to swap cameras out to get a better one. Move this out of the way onto the screen. Jupiter, Neptune over there, Saturn, Mars, and Uranus is right over here, so it's a long, long way from where we are. So that would explain why Uranus is only a small blob from our vantage point here. So it looks like Venus, Mars, Mercury are daytime, morning time type targets. So first thing in the morning. Right, Comet 62P Tuscashan, whatever it's called. Looks like it might be worth looking at. And C2021S3 Pan-STARRS, another one there, and Pons. So, but this one might be worth looking at, so I might switch off in a few moments and swap cameras, and then come back and see if we can capture that and do a continuation of the live stream with different configuration of the telescope. Now, let's move this back out of the way. Don't need that there. So that would explain where its position is in the orbital plane, how far away it is, why it's not very well defined, and it's going to be many years before it gets close enough to get a decent picture, especially for the equipment I have available. So let's have another look. At here. Is that the comet? The comet's just here, look. Is it? See if I get the spelling right. 62p. There it is. And it's below the horizon. Right, let's see if we've got some above the horizon and bring that back in. And go back to the camera for a bit. Select comets. Let's have a look at Pons Brooks 12p. I've looked at that before. There we go. And that's above 30 degrees, so I should be able to get it, although it will be a little bit low on the horizon, and we're looking at it with the wrong camera. So we're doing a meridian flip, just going all the way around. So we might need to do a little bit of star hopping. Let's go back to the slightly wider view. Because of its low magnitude, we're going to need to step up the completely wrong camera. We're not going to get anything with this. And we move this to another screen. Let's see if we can find something. Something close to check up on. There we go. We've got TYC, we've got a catalogue star, so we'll enter the catalogue star number in, and it's pretty close. It's not ideal. TYC 3152. (920-1). There it is, find it. Virtually where we are, so let's fill the screen. So there's the star that we've just entered in. So if we current object and slew, I should get pretty close to where it is, and then we could hop across. Yeah, planetary cameras aren't designed for chasing comets, not with my configuration anyway. So let's and finding it will be challenging because, oh hang on, what was that there? because the narrow field of view, let's just turn the exposure up to a few seconds. That can't be it, surely. That can't be it. Let's just whack this up a little bit more. And there you go, Shark Cat telling me I'm doing something wrong with this camera. Currently exposing 5 1/4 seconds, 5.27 seconds, and we're just looking to see if we can pick anything up. I don't think it has a tail, otherwise I'd jump on that and say that's it there, because that does look like it could be an interesting look. Yeah, I need to change the camera, go for a different camera to have a look properly at this. If you want me to change camera and go back on here, just drop a message, or we can go back and look at the Moon and Jupiter for a bit longer, which this camera was actually designed for. So let's just scroll down a little bit. I've not actually confirmed that we've got correct identifying places. So let me just look for something over here and find a big star to reference. So I'll be quiet for a few minutes while I have a poke around. Cedar looks good, nice and bright. Let's just see if we can pick that one up. Pretty close to where we are. Because we've done a meridian flip, I have a tendency to lose accuracy on my go-tos. That could possibly be Cedar or Sadr. So let's drop the exposure and do a circular search. Should get me the camera back online, shouldn't I? What we're at, 2 seconds, turn the gain right up and let's go for a spin. So we can find something stupid bright. That might be it. I think that was it just there. Something gives me a little clue. Just do like I said earlier, the high magnification and narrow field of view makes finding your target really, really difficult, especially on such a small sensor with the 224. Let me just just go back to the original location and start the search again, because it looks like we weren't too far away. Right, that's back to where we were, and let's just start that search again, see if we can find it. See if I can get my finger off the button pretty quick this time. That's it, fingers off. Let's go and have a look down. Sadar is an emissions nebula, so there'll be a lot of noise in this area. Let's just do a search again so we can find it. If we drop the exposure right down, I think I'm just being too lazy and not going out and changing cameras. That could have been it just there. There we go. There's only a matter of time. So what I'm going to do now, synchronize on that, and that should in theory give me a lot more accurate go-to to find the comet. Right, that's synchronized. Current object slew. Right, we're slewing across now to the position of the comet, and that should give us a better chance of finding it. I need to turn the exposure up. I think we'll call this futile. Drop that back down a bit. Let's go back to the moon. There we go. Better turn this down, otherwise we're going to be blinded. And then when we've got this realigned, I'm going to park it and swap cameras over. That's the moon. Just on the flyby of the moon. Right, just slewing around a little bit so you can. I can see it just along the edge, giving a bright spot. This is where I do really need my guide camera active. There we go. Back on the moon. How can we lose such an object? Right, go back to the appropriate speed and let's have a quick look round. Then I'm going to end the stream temporarily and come back later with a different camera. And preferably with a cup of tea. There we go, just double check the focus a tiny bit. It does look a little bit out, and YouTube just does butcher the resolution a little bit, more so than Facebook sometimes. Tweak the exposure a tiny bit. There we go, the moon. Right, I am now going to end the stream and I shall be back later on. Possibly different cameras, but definitely with the guide camera setup. So thanks for participating, thanks for the messages, and look forward to the next stream later. And there you go, thank you very much, see you again soon.